Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez. I'm a Scale Solutions Engineer at Databricks, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to set up an Azure Databricks workspace using vnet injection. So why to use vnet injection for Databricks? Basically, because we want to have complete network control and also enhance compliance within our workspace. So for the network control, we want to gain full authority over network security policies, traffic flow patterns, and access management for your Databricks environment. And in the HEMS compliance side, we want to move beyond default Databricks managed VNets to meet stringent compliance requirements and organizational governance standards. So we have some prerequisites. First, we want to have an Azure subscription. Second one, we need some appropriate permissions. So you need to be an Azure contributor or admin or owner role. And also you need a Microsoft Entra ID global administration permissions for initial account admin configuration. Third, we require some basic networking knowledge. So a solid understanding of Azure networking fundamentals, including vnet, subnet, and CIDR notation and resource group organization is going to be very important. A pro tip. So before set up any networking on your organization, please review your internal policies and IP address allocation strategy to avoid any conflict. So step one, we want to create your virtual network. Okay, so how this works. Basically, we have two components. We have the Azure control plane and your Azure network infrastructure. So the Azure Databricks control plane, it's in the Databricks Azure account, and the left side where is your VNet, it's on your Azure account. So we want to establish a connection between both parts. For that reason, we require Azure Databricks VNet. In this case, we're selecting an /22 and two subnets, one for the host subnet and another one for the container subnet. So the host is a reserved range for the worker nodes that execute distributed computations, and the container is for the driver nodes that orchestrate the cluster operations. Once we have the VNet, we're going to require a NAT gateway that is going to access the public internet. And in that way, the Azure Databricks control plane can control some of your Azure resources, like starting clusters, managing how they scale or not. Also, it provides access to the Databricks Assistant, Unity Catalog, and other resources. So now let's take a look on Azure Portal how we can create our own virtual network. So here we are in the Azure Portal. We can come here and click on Virtual Networks. We can click here and create. We need to select the subscription. We need to select a resource group. You can select an existing one or create a new one. If you click here, you can just put your name, click OK, and it's going to create a new resource group. In this case, I'm going to use the existing one. Then we can put a name over here. I'm going to type here Databricks Journey, VNet. Then I'm going to click on Next. This is going to be by default. Next, we're going to have the IP addresses. So here you need to select the range that doesn't have conflicts within your organization. So if you have other subnets or any on-prem infrastructure, please make sure that here you won't have any conflicts. For this video, I'm just going to use this one that is the default one. I'm going to select an /22 range. This is going to have 1024 addresses. I'm going to remove this subnet over here, and I'm going to add the two vnet. So here I'm going to create the public. Like best practice is to include kind of like which workspace we're going to use. Let's say that we're going to create the dev workspace. So I'm going to set something like dev public subnet. I'm going to select an /23 here in the subnet. I'm going to mark the private subnet, and I'm going to click on add. Then I'm going to click on add the subnet. In the name, I'm going to do dev private. Going to mark as private subnet, and I'm going to click on add. Once we have this, so you see that we are kind of like setting up the same layer as we had at the other screen over here in /22, public and private. Now we're missing the NAT gateway, but we're going to do this after the subnets are being created. So let's move on. I'll click next. Here is recommended to add tags, but we're going to skip this step for now. We're going to click on review and create, and we're going to wait for the validation that is running. The validation has passed, and I'm going to click on create. This is going to take 1 or 2 minutes to be deployed. The resource has been deployed. If we come here, we're going to be able to see that the virtual network has been created. Okay, now we're going to create the NAT gateway. We're going to type here NAT. We can see this icon that says NAT gateways. We click here. We're going to click in create. We're going to select the same resource group that we have for Databricks, just to keep things organized. And I'm going to put something like NAT dash Databricks journey. Here, I need to select the same region as my vnet. Gonna keep this one. Gonna keep all by default. I'll click next. I'll click next. Gonna select the vnet. Gonna choose both of my subnets. Let's click next. Let's click and review and create. Oh, something I missed. I need to add the public IP address. Just gonna click here, create. I'm gonna put Databricks journey public IP. Okay. I click OK. Gonna click save. Here is the public IP. Gonna click review and create. Let's make sure. Here we have the dep, the private, Databricks journey. Gonna click here and create. This is also gonna take a couple of minutes. Let's move. Okay, the resource has been created. Over here, let's take a look. Okay, here we have the NAT. Let's go home. Let's click on Azure Databricks, or you can, like, if it doesn't appear over here, you can look here in the search bar and you can type Azure Databricks. Once we are here, you can click on create. You can select the resource group. Let's type a name. I'm gonna call it dep Databricks journey as the name. I'm gonna select premium. There is also the option for the trial that you can select over here if you want to just test it out, or just select the premium one. I'm gonna select the trial at this moment. Gonna use the hybrid. And here we're gonna create a managed resource group. So the managed resource group, basically, it's gonna be a resource group that is gonna be fully managed by Databricks. So over here, we're gonna create the workspaces, some storage accounts for your workspace file system, and other like required assets. So I'm gonna use the same name as the workspace, and I'm just gonna put a suffix over here to know that this is the managed resource group name. Okay, I click next networking. We click yes in both. I select the vnet that we just created, and I need some of the subnets names. So I'm gonna open another tab here on the Azure. I'm gonna look for my vnet, and I'm just gonna copy and paste. So I click here on settings, subnet. I'm just gonna do this and I'm gonna delete these spaces. Okay. Now I'm gonna copy the private name. And let me close this. And I'm gonna do the same thing to copy these values. And I remove over here. Okay. Here we already created the NAT gateway, so we don't have to do it on our own. So we can just click in now. We click next. In this case, we're not gonna use any like own keys, so we skip this. Also, we skip this. This is only required for when you have some strict like compliance requirements and you need another subscription in order to do it. So let's click next. Here you can add some tags and values, and finally you can click here and review and create. Okay, it has been validated. So let's take a look at the names. We're going to use the resource group, East US. We're using the trial, here on a hybrid, a managed resource group. Here we have our subnets, and let's click on create. It took a couple of minutes, but we're done. The workspace has been deployed, so we can click here and go to the resource. And we can launch the workspace. And there we go. Here we have a Databricks workspace. We can do some quality checks. You can come here, click on create with personal compute, and let's start a cluster just for 10 minutes, just to make sure that that the networking it's okay. Let's click and create. And wait until this is gonna be a green dot. If that happens, so this means that the network configuration, it's perfect. This is a quick introduction about how to set up a workspace and what a workspace is. On the next video, we're gonna talk about how to set up UC and how you can like get your data within Databricks. So see you in our next video.